All right, welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick for this week's Breakout Watchlist from January 19th to the 22nd. In this video, we'll be covering 15 different stocks that have breakout potential in the shortened trading week. Remember, on Monday, today, the markets are not open because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. All of the stocks that we'll be covering today are in an uptrend. They're above their 200-day simple moving average, which itself isn't an uptrend. They're 150% or more above their 52-week lows, and they've gone through some consolidation period. Last week's winners, we found JMIA 17%, AGYS 8%, and BLNK for 7%. If you're watching this for a specific stock, all the timestamps for each of the stocks will be in the comments below, so you can just click on that and go directly to that commentary. And reminder that this is going to be week 3 of the Tik Tok Trading Challenge. So from this list, I will be posting a poll on Twitter with 4 different options for you guys to vote from. And whatever money I make on TikTok the past week, I dump into a Robinhood account and invest it depending on how you guys vote for. So last week, that fund returned 7%. So you guys picked great. Hopefully you guys do the same again this week. And if that account beats my own personal trading account in 2021, I'll be giving away the TikTok Robinhood account that you guys invest away to any people that drop their Twitter handles in that first TikTok video that I made. If you're not yet subscribed, please do so for stock trading content and follow me on StockTwits, Twitter, and TikTok. So quick example of what that vote would look like. Here are going to be the 4 options that I covered today: DOCU, FEYE, Joe, and TENB. So vote for your favorite setup, and however the votes get distributed is how I'll allocate the account on Tuesday morning. Quick disclaimer, none of the setups that I talk about are financial advice, stock advice. This is for educational purposes only. Trading comes with financial risk. Please do your own due diligence. So here are the list of 15 stocks. You can see the stars are next to the stocks that are going to be on that poll on Twitter. So let's jump into it. First, we have ALB. This one might need a couple days, but from the 4th of November, it's ran about 100% up, and then we had some really high volume in this extension, so people climbing over themselves to keep buying it. Since then, we've pulled back, not quite to the 8-day exponential moving average, so this is why maybe it could use Tuesday, Wednesday, and then set up better for the second half of the week, but trading kind of sideways here on very light volume the last 4 trading days. And one thing that I wanted to point out, and I'll be pointing out with a lot of these setups, are on Thursday, market started pulling back, and on Friday, a lot of the growth stocks had that flush where they were pulling back 5, 7, 10%. So all the stocks that I'll be covering pulled back, either were green on the day or pulled back less, so they were showing relative strength. You can see last Friday, this pulled back only 1.2%, so not too bad, still above the 8-day moving average. What I would be looking for is just a break over some of these previous highs in here. The high from January 14th, 184.09, could be a possible buy point, especially if on Tuesday we open lower, take out some of these previous lows, and then check back to that high point. That would be even better, so we can knock out any stop losses. That's ALB. Next, we have APPN. This was on week one's watch list. And then you can see here, we started off the year on a bad note. This flushed down, undercut a lot of lows. So what I'm looking at here is anyone who got in the trade around here put their stops under the previous lows here. And then on the 6th, they would have been stopped out with that lower wick. It's set up again, some good volume coming in the extension on Wednesday and Thursday. And then on Friday, only down 2.5% and an inside candle closing in the higher half of Thursday's candle. So that's, and on lower volume. So showing great relative strength on Friday, inside day, and closed relatively well in Friday's candle in the upper half of its own daily candle too. So a break over Thursday's high of 176.66 is my possible buy point. Next we have ATEC, ATEC. You can see I tried to trade this earlier this year, or last year, I guess. And then we had that long lower wick that stopped me out just before it set up and took off. Uh, since then, we've pulled back, undercut the 20-day simple moving average, rallied back up, and on Friday we had an inside day, down 2.6%, but stayed above, closed above the 20 and the 8-day exponential moving average, with the low of the day finding support right around that area, and did so on lighter volume. So similar to APPN, just a break over Thursday's high of 1472 would be my possible buy point. It's ATEC. Next, we have BBIO. This one set up through here and then really just exploded 74% in about 2 months or so. Since then, we had a large flush on the first day of the year, all the way down to the 20-day simple moving average. Found some support around there. Buyers stepped in. Had another pullback day that was quickly reclaimed on Thursday, and then an inside day, I think inside, let's see, yeah, inside day on Friday, where the low of the day found support right at that 20-day simple moving average again. So similar to the others, a break over Thursday's high here of 70.01 would be my possible buy point. Next, we have CALX. This is one that held up really well on Friday, only basically flat, down 0.03%, not bad at all. Sitting above the 8-day exponential right now, kind of forming a cup and sideways handle action through there. And you like to see the volume come in on up days and less on days that it pulls back. So doing all the right things, showing great relative strength. You can see this is price relativity compared to the QQQs, doing the right things, and average true range, ATR, that measures the bars in here. So it's starting to come in, which means the disagreement over price is getting smaller and smaller. And when that happens, usually when a big buyer steps in, there's that price illiquidity, and it'll shoot it up or down, depending on if it's a big seller. But that's why we're only buying the breakouts, because we look for that price illiquidity. We look for a break over some previous resistance, and then that usually indicates a big buyer stepping in. And because we have that illiquidity, it'll shoot it up quicker. So with this one, just looking for a break over Friday's high of 33.50 as a possible buy point. We're already kind of over the previous high there. That's CALX, holding up great. Next, we have DMAC. This one's a much thinner traded name, so 188 shares traded on Friday, and just to be cautious with that, typically the thinner the name is traded, the less volume you can actually, or the less size you can actually put on, because if it starts moving down, you are more likely to have price slippage when you get stopped out. So never want to have too large of a position on a thinly traded name, but this one is setting up really well, so we'll take a look at it. So up 160% since kind of the middle of November through the high. From there, we've pulled back 21%, so high tight flag, 90% or more in 8 weeks or less up, and then within 25% from the high during a pullback. So doing all the right things, good volume on the way out, volume getting nice and tight through here as it just kind of trades sideways around that 8-day exponential moving average. Ideally, we get another couple days of kind of down sideways action to allow the 20-day simple moving average to catch up. Maybe a big buyer's looking at that to step up. But if it just goes on Tuesday, then a break over January 13th's high of 1021 is my possible buy point. That's the high in this range. So again, ideally we pull back, find some support at the 20-day, get some confirmation that there's buyers stepping in there, and then it breaks with a little bit more pent up buying pressure. But if it goes, it goes. That's DMAC, again, thinly traded, hard to get as much size on that. Whoops. Next we have DOCU, and this is one of the ones that you guys can vote on. This is going to be just a simple pullback buy. So you can see it's been basing out since kind of July, but slight uptrend as it does so. Um, Notice great volume come in on last Monday, I think it was. Yeah, the 12th, as we broke over some previous highs through here. So there's that. We broke through that. And then we just had a nice low volume pullback where the low of the day Friday bounced right at the 8-day exponential moving average. So with this, there's two different ways that I might play this. If we open lower on Tuesday, or if we open and then take out the lows of Friday, so we actually pierce under the 8-day exponential moving average, and then rally and reclaim the high from Friday, so we get a bullish engulfing candle on Tuesday, then it's buyable with a break over Friday's high. That would be 256.44. Otherwise, if we just open higher and we never take out this low to really stop everyone else, stop the short-term traders out at the 8-day, then I would just be looking for a break over the previous high through here of 263 as my possible buy point. So always good to have a couple plans. So if something doesn't work exactly in your favor, you can be flexible with how you approach it. That's DOCU, again, one that you guys can vote on Twitter. Next we have FEYE, another one that will be on the poll. And I'll post that right after this video gets posted, so you should be able to see it right away. This one I actually tried to trade on, that was Wednesday, just with a break over the high through here, or the pivot point through here. Right when I bought, just reversed down and kind of sold off, so got stopped out, I think on the same day. I put a really tight stop. If it went, it went. Otherwise, it was going to be a small loss. That's always what you want. Small, keep your losses as small as possible, and then let your winners run. Easier said than done, but you can always control how small your losses will be. Can't always control how large your winners are. But after it kind of reversed through, it's pulled back. 20-day simple moving average coming up. That's right where the low of the day Friday was. So similar to the idea with DOCU, if we open and we undercut the low from Friday and then take out the high, that is buyable. Or we might need a couple days of just kind of like tightening up, and then we could use Thursday's high of 23.10 as a possible buy point. So if it just breaks and comes through with some volume on the day, 23.10 is where I'd be looking. Otherwise, if we can undercut that low, take out all the stops, like ideally, if we can undercut like through here and take out the low from the 11th, that's even better. But a couple ways to play this. Tons of volume on the way out. I think this was, yeah, 93% up and 19% back. So high tight flag, doing all the right things. Just had one head fake for a small loss, but just because I got stopped out of it doesn't mean the chart's destroyed. This is just looking for a different setup now. So I don't want to let a past loss like kind of dictate that I'm not going to take the trade, because these things can firm up and just take off. Next we have JOE, and this one I actually currently have a position in, bought on Wednesday. As you can see, moving averages are doing all the right things. 200-day, 50-day, 20-day, 8-day exponential, all in the right order. So everything's in an uptrend. We had this really strong move and then finally flushed down it after it was riding the upper Bollinger Band here. But really didn't get out of hand with the pullback. So that first one was around 17%, and then we had a second pullback that brought it back to 19%. So still high tight flag, and you actually like to see that second pullback undercut the first one, just because if anyone got in right around the low or on this day where it moved over the 8-day exponential moving average, then they have their stop right around here if they're keeping 5 to 7% stop, and they got stopped out on the 4th as it pulled back. So good to see that. Shakes out some traders. Looked like it was going to rally, pulled right back to the 20-day, has been respecting that really well, has never closed under that so far in this flag. Got going on Thursday, and then Friday held up really well, only down 1%. Had this nice long lower wick, almost took out my stop, but held in there, and did so on slightly less volume. So outside of the big down day here with heavy volume, the volume's been doing the right thing. Relative strength is in an uptrend, even in this kind of flag area, because market's been relatively shaky for the indexes. So what I would be looking for is just a break over Thursday's high of 46.17 as your possible buy point right through there. So kind of a confluence of indicators there. That's JOE, and that was the third one that you guys will be able to vote on. Next we have LESL. This is an IPO. I think this was about a 40% move. Yeah, 45% move up. And then we've pulled back 14%. So nothing heavy with the pullback. A little bit more volume than you would like to see, but not exactly detrimental. We haven't pulled under the 20-day or anything like that. And just a nice sideways drift showing great relative strength compared to the market the last week. And then on Friday, pulled back to the 8-day, found some support there. Buyer stepped in and doing all the right things. So a break over Thursday's high, that would be 28.53. That would be your possible buy point right through there. If you guys are enjoying the video, please leave a like and comment any stocks that you guys are watching that I'm not covering here, because I want to be as prepared as possible. If I'm helping you guys out, you guys can help me out. So next we have MITK. This has been on my watch list for a while. Not a high type flag, just a nice strong move up, 77% up, pulled back now 21%, and then had that pullback, rallied, undercut the first one through here, and rode that 20-day simple moving average up. That's why I thought it was going to just kind of ride that and then pop. But just keeps trading sideways, a little bit downward action on Friday. Looked to challenge the 8-day and actually reversed lower. So one strike against the chart there. But this is creating a really clean pivot point. So again, I'm only buying if the stock is actually doing the right thing and breaking out over these pivot points. I'm not just saying, okay, here are my 15 stocks, I'm buying them on Monday. I want to see them show strength, come through pivot points with volume ideally. So I'm buying on the way up. And this has a lot of those same daily highs right around the same price. The highest one here, 1765, that's going to be my buy point if it goes through that. But if this just turns down and comes down to the 50-day simple moving average, it's just not a trade I'd take. But if it's acting right, then we can put the trade on. That's MITK. Next we have RCKT. This is high type flag. Let's see, up 109-ish% on that jump with volume. Since then, we've pulled back. I think this was like, yeah, 24%. So right on that maximum. The max is 25 to be a high type flag. I did try and take a trade through here over this like really low pivot. Got barely stopped out the next day, but would have been stopped out later, so that's fine. What I wanted to point out is this had a bunch of lows kind of around the same place, and then on Friday we actually undercut that. So anyone who got in on this little break or this continuation over and has been staying in the trade, this is probably their low that they're looking at to keep their stop at. That got punctured on Friday, so it's clearing the deck. Anyone that's still in is one of the strong holders. So this is one that it could just as easily turn down and pull back to the 50 days, try and find some support there. But if it does get going, now we have a fresh deck of traders to be in with. And I would be looking at a high of 59.33, the high from January 14th, as my possible buy point. By waiting for that price confirmation, you're also over this the main part of the volume shelf, so there's less resistance up top here. But we do have a couple higher wicks, so that's one strike against the chart, just because it shows it has faked a breakout before selling off. But typically, the more of those that happen, and then once it finally gets going and it actually holds that breakout, then people are coming back in to buy it up because everyone gets sick of a name that fake breaks out, fake breaks out, fake breaks out. And then when it actually does get going, if they've been stopped out a couple times, they want to get their money back. They want to get back into the name, but it's already at an elevated price, so they have to bid it up even higher. So that's my plan with this. If it turns down, I'm not trading it at all, so not too worried about that. But definitely have an alert set, probably around $58. So if it does rally, takes out the high 59.33 from the 14th, that's the area that I'm looking to buy. Next we have TENB, and this is the last one from the poll today. Really strong move through here, 72%, not a high type flag, but tons of volume coming in with this extension. We had a pullback of, let's see, that first pullback was only 12%, and then you can see here we undercut that. So again, clearing the deck, that's what you like to see. Rallied up and showed really great relative strength this week, especially the last couple days. So here's Thursday and Friday's candle. Not too bad, down 1%. A lot of the growth names were down 7% on Friday. So holding great relative strength. 20-day simple moving average is now coming up for possible support. You got good relative strength, like I said, and average true range coming way down. So people are not disagreeing on the price as much. Everything's getting nice and quiet. So if a big buyer steps in, maybe around that 20-day, shoots it up, you could use two different areas. You could use Friday's high, 54.92 as a possible buy point, or the high from the 12th, that's 55.95. So through here, or if you want to kind of cheat lower, just Friday's high, or maybe you put half on there, so you're adding as it's confirming a breakout. That's TENB, TENB. Got two more for you, VCYT. This is one that has a couple of those longer lower wicks. Whoops, drew that wrong. Sorry. So not perfect here. I guess you could put it a little bit higher. But every time it's kind of coming up to this diagonal, getting sold off. Ideally, we have a couple more days of sideways trading, allow the average true range to come in a little bit. But two different areas you could buy, depending on what day this actually gets going. Maybe because it's shortened trading week, just trade sideways and then goes next week. But could buy with a break over Thursday's high, that's 55.02, and maybe that, depending on when it does move over, maybe that also breaks this downward diagonal as well. So you get two different types of systems working at the same breakout point. The more systems that you can get aligning to that same or similar breakout point, the higher probability that you have of a winning trade. And talking about probabilities, there's no absolutes in trading. So just because something looks like it's going to be set up to break out doesn't mean it has to. Just because it starts to break out doesn't mean it can't just reverse. With trading, we're just trying to add as much probability to our side as possible, and then we roll the dice with stop losses in place to keep those losses small. And we just do that over and over again to compound our accounts. And finally, we have ZS. This one I would love if it just traded kind of down sideways Tuesday and Wednesday just to set up the trade better, but it had such great relative strength on Friday. And so here's the relative strength, looking great. Average true range coming in a little bit as these bars get smaller and smaller. So I would love for it to trade down, test the 8-day, and then check higher, but a break over all-time highs of 214.83 is my possible buy point. So that is going to be the breakout watch list for the week. Make sure you go on my Twitter account, StockTrickNick, for that and vote on your favorite setup. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy trading content. Leave a like if you found any value in this video, and follow me on StockTwits, Twitter, and TikTok. All right, have a great week, and I'll see you on Wednesday for the Midweek Movers live stream and on Friday for the trading recap. All right, take care.